With a population of around 8 billion, there are only 8% rare people, and from them, we've chosen the most exciting existence of human beings for you. From the unbelievable survivors and the unique souls to people who chose to become exceptional. Let us learn about the most unique people you won't believe existed till you see them. World's oldest conjoined twins. The incredible story of Mr. Ronnie and Donnie Gallion is not new. Two rarely conjoined twins spent their whole life jointly by their connected bodies. Isn't it amazing? They were born in 1951 with conjoined figures. Later, they refused to get separated and decided to spend their life with each other. And the stardom they got in their hometown of Dayton, Ohio was no less than any popular celebrity. These gentlemen retired together in 1991 from active employment and died at 68 because of heart failure. Having a life like this is a legacy itself, and they will be memorized forever. Man with the widest mouth. Do you know what a person can hide in his mouth? This is the story of the widest mouth in which a man can hide things. Francisco Domingo Joaquin is the man with the world's widest mouth. He has that spacious mouth that he keeps cold drink canes in his mouth without any hurdle. He has a Guinness World Record for having the widest mouth in the world. He was discovered by some YouTubers who came to him to create content for their channels and show the world the wildest things he can do. Domingo has a weird talent for stretching his lips over his face, which amazes people. Girl without a nose. Tessa Evan, a wonder baby. Tessa is a baby girl born with a rare medical state, having no nose for real. Yes, she is a little survivor of complete congenital arenea. It is a birth disability like having no nose, which actually means she can't smell, sneeze, or even exhale through her nose. In her initial birth period, doctors were hopeless about her survival, but as we said, she's the miracle baby for real. Tessa is a brilliant child living a normal life with her family. She's the first person in the world whose nose was implanted with 3D technology. Later, it got removed because of extreme infections, but Tessa is perfectly beautiful without owning a nose. World's first armless pilot. Have you ever thought about flying an aircraft without arms? Yep, this is possible if you have that high spirit like Jessica Cox. She is the first armless pilot in the world. From having meals, doing her makeup, driving herself to the airport, and even flying an airplane. She does all her jobs with the help of her legs and feet. Jessica trained her legs with extra workouts, and she is also a black belt in Taekwondo. She's known for her courage and her achievements, making her one of the strongest women in the world. Boy with an outside heart. Not like any other human, Juven was born differently. He has a bizarre but special physical condition. When he was born, most of his body parts were disabled, but the most notable disability is that he has his heart outside of his chest. It's like his heart has popped out of his body. Yes, you can see his heart through naked eyes and watch his heart beating when he was born. Doctors already told his parents to be prepared for any worst case, as he could die at any small mistake. But Juven is living as carefully as he can. His life is difficult, but he has the power to defy all the odds. Man became black alien. We always listen that desires can make a man do wonders. And here's another story of a man doing wonders to himself in the wish of becoming a black alien. Anthony Laferdo wanted to become an alien, and that's how all of this began. He has modified all his body parts, like covering his body with black tattoos, removing his hair, coloring his eyes green, cutting down 2 of his fingers, splitting his tongue into 2, and cropping half of his nose. With all of these modifications, he's also removed his ears completely. These alterations placed daily on his body, and his desire has made him the most bizarre man in the world. An upside-down human. Claudio Vieira de Oliveira, a 45-year-old man with a heart-wrenching disability. He was born with a severe medical crisis named congenital malformation, by which he has his skull upside down and his legs are also curved around. After receiving the threatening statement about his health from doctors, his family decided to not take him to the hospital ever again. It's right to say that he's living in a most unfortunate situation, But he managed to survive, as he's become a qualified accountant and managed to travel to different states to give motivational speeches, as if he can survive in the worst possible situation, why not anyone else? Werewolf boy for real. Werewolf human is not always fiction in the worst scenarios. It can be real, like this boy born in India with a face all covered by hair. Lalit Patidar was born with werewolf syndrome and has to live all his life with this major inconvenience. His parents said that the hair grows again as they cut it. Lalit had to be bullied and people were afraid of him because of his physical appearance. But he's spending his life like normal kids by going to school for education and playing around with other kids. He's passionate about not letting his syndrome get in the way of his dreams. Extraordinary conjoined twins. Conjoined twins always have some unique appearances, like this popular case. Abigail and Brittany Hensel are two different individuals having the same body. These twins share the same body with vital body elements, but different heads. Both of them have designed their life collectively and manage all their duties with each other's help, as one arm and leg is in Abigail's control and the other is on Brittany's side. It seems like their body has been designed in an organized pattern for both of them to live together. Both are living happily as they teach in school and have become a source of motivation for students. Wrestler without legs. We have that image of wrestlers with a completely powerful body, but let me tell you the story of a wrestler with no legs. Zion Clark is the fastest man on arms. By birth, he suffered from caudal regression syndrome, one of thousands of children born with this disease, and Zion did not make it his weakness. Rather, he took advantage of it and became the fastest man without legs. He is not an ordinary athlete and holds a Guinness World Record for running the quickest by just his arms. His extraordinary capabilities make him a real-life superhero. A jawless man. Can you believe someone's actually living his life without a mandible? Yes, meet Joseph William, a 41-year-old American national. He's the man with no jaw. He was born with an oral facial syndrome, which means he has a face but no mouth. Joseph is spending his life without eating anything or breathing. He takes his diet through an inserted tube in his stomach in which he adds liquid meals. He can't speak, but found his soulmate who loves and takes care of him. Shortest living woman. A tiny little person who's not a baby? The world's shortest woman is living her life in India. Jodi Kisangi Amge is the thinnest woman in the world. Jodi was 6 years old when she stopped growing, and now she's 28. She is just 24 inches tall, and her height makes her the rare person to exist on this planet. Jodi has starred in an American show where people found her cutest. Other than her height, her innocence makes her a joyful person who holds a child in herself. Small tools are installed in Jodi's house so she can do her tasks by herself. She's an independent, strong woman living the best of her life. World's heaviest baby. The healthiest babies are always found adorable and attractive. But what if they have that giant body of 10 years old at 10 months age? That's not healthy at all. Luis Manuel is a Mexican child who has an unusual weight of 66 pounds at 10 months of age. He was wearing clothes of 1 year old when he was just 1 month old. His parents were noticing an exceptional change in his weight and took him to doctors, where they found that Luis is suffering from Prader-Willi syndrome, which is an incurable disease that can lead to other major health problems. He is not like any other normal child, but is living his life exceptionally. An eye popper lady. Popping out an eye for real is scary, funny, and amazing at the same time. The lady who lives in Chicago, named Kim Goodman, is actually a person who can pop out her eyes. She told that she discovered her talent at a Halloween party when she accidentally popped her eyes out and then she had to put them back in. She became popular because of her rare talent. She holds a Guinness World Record for having gigantic eyes and popping them out 0.47 inches. She displays her talent and makes people stunned by it effortlessly. Kim is an amusing, cherished lady with the ability to make people laugh. Little Mermaid Girl. This is the major question of this planet. Are mermaids real? Do they actually exist? Well, to answer this question, we get to come up with a real mermaid baby story, Milagros Cerón. She's the little mermaid girl born with mermaid syndrome, or siren Amalia, has joined legs. This disease came with other health complications like kidney and liver problems. Kids born in this state typically die after some hours of their birth, but Milagros managed to survive for 15 years and got her legs separated by surgery, which made her able to walk. She proved the mermaid theory real and shows even human mermaids exist. Boy with giant hands. Muhammad Kaleem, an Indian child who had an unstoppable growth of his hands and arms since his birth did not stop growing and became the gigantic big part of their body in 8 years. After it became international news, Kaleem finally received medical assistance for his health. Because of their rare health state, Kaleem had to suffer through many problems like being bullied, did not get admission to the school for education, and he required help to do his daily routine tasks like having meals or changing clothes. Life has been tough for Kaleem, but his courage of living made him the strongest child. Boy with extra body parts. Is having extra body parts making humans like a god? There's a boy named Deepak Paswan from India who has extra body parts connected to his stomach, like big legs and small arms. It's a biological case that occurred when his mother was expecting conjoined twins. One of them did not survive, but his body parts came out tied with the birth of another twin, Deepak Paswan. The Hindu villagers started believing that he's some kind of god or devta because of his exceptional body. And now, Deepak's surgery has been executed, and he's living his life like any other normal boy. Man with raised hand. Could you raise your hand for 45 years? Let me introduce you to the person who's been raising his hand for more than 45 years without putting it down even once. Sadhu Bharti has been raising his hand since he claimed to receive a religious calling. After that, he left his family and village and shifted to nowhere. Earlier, he was living a normal life and working in a bank, having 3 children and a wife. He raised his hands with the mindset of considering it a sign of peace to end the violence in this cruel world. Sadhu Bharti has dedicated all his life to Shiva, the Hindu god. An elastic man. Having a skin like rubber is not just a thought. A guy named Gary Turner is suffering from a genetic disorder named Ehlers-Danlos. It's a syndrome that makes his skin suffer through major mishappenings, like he can stretch his skin as no one can. Gary received the title of having the most elastic skin in the world, and he has that amazing cherished features that make him more attractive despite having this painful disease. He can stretch his skin all over his face and create that weird appearance, but people enjoy meeting him and watching his unusual supernatural craft. Lady with backward knees. Chen Tuanxi, a powerful lady who lived 26 years of her life having backward knees. She's well known for her struggles. Chen is a survivor of congenital January curve item disease, which means that she has backward bended knees, and she was not able to stand on her feet. The first time she stood on her feet was after 10 surgeries at 26 years of age. Her popular story made many NGOs to help her get the best treatment, and now she's able to walk and is living perfectly. Tree Man. Tree Man is not actually a tree as a man or a man as a tree, but having tree trunks on hands. This is the most bizarre sight, but actually happened with a Bangladeshi boy, Abul Banjadar. He's been suffering from epidermodysplasia vermiform, a very rare disease that only 4 people in this world have. He's been operated on many times to cure this, but it starts occurring again. Having tree-like warts all over the body is such a painful condition, which makes Abul's life the toughest in any way. But the good part is he's still ready to deal with it. 100-year-old woman with horns. A human can have horns on their head? Yes, it's not just a thought. There's a woman named Shang Roifang from Linlu village. She's 100 years old and has black horns on her head. Her family claims that one of her horns appeared out of nowhere one day on her head and started growing. Now, another horn is growing out of her head, and she got attached to it and is happy with her rare feature. The 6-centimeter horn on her head is the same as her nail substance. She considers herself God-gifted and refuses to remove it at any cost. a prettiest ugly lady. Being judged by physical appearance is one of the saddest realities of this world. A lady who has always been bullied for her looks, Elizabeth Ann Velasquez, is a powerful woman competing with every other person who found her any less than her. She was born with marfanoid progeroid lipodystrophy, in which weight cannot be gained and physical appearance is affected in the worst ways. It was heart-wrenching when she saw a video in which she was declared the ugliest woman on earth, but she always gets stronger and proved herself best in any way. Now she gives motivational speeches on different platforms and became an example of strength. A girl with the longest legs. Having the longest legs in the world and becoming popular because of it? Isn't that exciting? Here comes Macy Curran, 17 years old from Texas. Having a Guinness World Record for the longest legs, Macy has a height of 6 feet 10 inches. Her legs are 4 feet long, which consists of 60% of her height. Her left leg is bigger than the right one, but this is the matter with every human, so don't worry too much about that. Macy discussed the advantages and disadvantages of being that tall, as an edge as finding a friend in the crowd and a hurdle as getting into the car. Overall, Macy's happy with her life and exceptional standing. Boy with missing body parts. Doing your own stuff and enjoying life does not always demand a complete body, as here's a boy for you who has some major parts of his body missing, but he managed to live happily. Tio Satria was born without arms and legs, but with some extra talented powers than any other human. He lives his life wisely and learns to play his favorite video games without arms. His parents are always his big supporters, who have supported him throughout and designed his tough life in the easiest way. Baby with extra head. Stories of struggling conjoined twins are always roaming, but this type of conjoined twin is awful. A baby born with 2 heads and faces. Along with her own baby, she was born with the head of her twin sister who was not able to survive. Minar Majid is an Egyptian girl born with the rarest case, unique element of having double heads. Both heads are joined together by the hair, and the most shocking element was both heads moved or acted differently, like the timing of their crying or laughing was different. Later on, Dr. Mohammed Lutfi performed her surgery, but she passed away 14 months later because of a brain infection. Girl with tears of glass. Crying with blood is a well-known metaphor, but crying glass? This is actually shocking in any way. 13-year-old Hasna Musalmani is a girl from Lebanon who has tears of glass. Hasna said one day she felt a little inconvenience in her eye, and when her family took her to the doctor, they found 3 pieces of glass. She says this is not painful at all, and she cries 7 or 8 pieces of glass each day. This is extremely shocking and disturbing at the same time. Magnetic Kid. We've seen iron heroes in movies, but there's a real-life iron baby in this world named Ivan Stoiljkovic. His body is supposed to have some magnetic capabilities like attracting irons. He can attach metal particles to his body like spoons and forks, as you can see. He discovered this rare element in his body at the age of 6. His supernatural power made him popular with the entire world, and he got the title of Magnetic Kid. This boy has power rare enough to amaze the world. Man turns into Red Skull. Getting impressed by fictional characters happens to everyone, but trying to become one of them demands a lot. Henry Damon has totally transformed himself in order to become the Red Skull. John Schmidt is the fictional character, a Nazi general officer from the Marvel Comics. Taking inspiration from him, Henry changed his appearance entirely. He covered his body with red tattoos, cut down his nose, and attempted many surgeries on himself, which gave him an ultimately bizarre look. But he loves it, and he only wants people to call him the Red Skull. Hulkman. Let me show you a real-life Hulk, Sajjad Gharibi from Iran. He's a weightlifter and MMA fighter with a body like Hulk and a weight of 390 pounds. He became a celebrity after going viral on the internet. Some people claim that most of his pictures are photoshopped, but this has not been proved anywhere. He's now the inspiration for many youngsters who want to join the fighting or weightlifting fields. Sajjad received the Hulkman title through the internet when he went viral, and he loves this title. fattest man ever. Gaining extra weight is extremely harmful in most scenarios. Keith Martin from Britain has said to be the fattest man to ever exist in the world. He had a weight of almost 900 pounds, which means his weight is more than any other human. When he was 20, his weight started gaining like a balloon, which led to a highest weight of 980 pounds. Keith was not able to leave his bed for 10 years, and unfortunately, died 8 years ago. He's still remembered as the heaviest person on Earth.